After days of unanswered calls and ready to contact authorities, I learned my girlfriend was vacationing on an island resort with her former flame, all charged to my account. Be me, 29-year-old guy. Been wanting to write this story for a while. It's pretty long and complicated, but need to get it off my chest. This all happened last year. Even though I'm doing way better now, I still think about how everything went down. Was dating Olivia, 26 female, for almost 2 years. Met at my friend Trevor's housewarming party. She was friends with Trevor's girlfriend. Remember exactly how we met because she accidentally spilled her drink on my new shoes. Instead of being embarrassed, she just laughed. Well, now you have to talk to me. That's the kind of person Olivia was, or at least the person I thought she was. Olivia worked in digital advertising at this big company downtown Chicago. She was really good at her job, always talking about these creative campaigns she was working on. Was the type of person who got excited about literally everything. New restaurants, random street festivals, even grocery shopping. She had this energy that just made everyone around her feel more alive, you know? We started dating pretty quickly after we met. Everything felt easy with her. We liked the same movies except for horror movies. She hated those, had the same sense of humor, wanted the same things in life, or at least that's what she told me. About 3 months into dating, Olivia started telling me about her ex, Nate. He was this stereotypical bad boy type. Rode a motorcycle, covered in tattoos, worked as a tattoo artist at some fancy shop downtown. According to Olivia, their relationship was super toxic. She'd tell me stories about how he'd just disappear for days without texting, how he'd always choose hanging out with his friends over her, how he'd make her feel like she wasn't good enough. Remember this one night we were sitting on my couch watching some random Netflix show. She started crying out of nowhere. When I asked what was wrong, she told me about how Nate once forgot her birthday because he was too busy at some motorcycle rally with his friends. She said being with me made her realize what a real relationship should feel like. Man, I ate that stuff up. Was so focused on being the good guy who could help her heal from her past relationship that I missed all the red flags. Like how she still followed all his social media accounts just to see how much better she was doing, or how she'd randomly bring him up in conversations that had nothing to do with him. Things were really good between us though. We had all these plans for the future. We'd talk about where we wanted to live. She loved the idea of a house with a big kitchen. How many kids we might want. She said 2. I wanted 3. Even what kind of dog we'd get. She insisted on a golden retriever. Started looking at rings about 6 months ago. Nothing fancy, but I knew she liked oval diamonds because she had a Pinterest board full of them. Yeah, I know how that sounds. But when you think you found the right person, you notice these little details. We even opened a joint savings account specifically for future travel plans. We both put in a portion of our paychecks each month, planning to take this big trip to Italy next year. Olivia was really excited about going to Rome. She had this whole itinerary planned out already. Looking back now, I can see there were warning signs, like how she'd get weird whenever Nate's name came up in conversation with our friend group, or how she'd sometimes go quiet and distant when she was on her phone, but then brush it off as just work stuff. But you know how it is when you're in love. You make excuses for the person. Tell yourself you're just being paranoid. Her best friend Rebecca was around a lot too. They'd been friends since high school. Rebecca was always at our place. She and Olivia would have these long conversations in the kitchen, while I played video games or worked on my laptop. I thought it was nice that Olivia had such a close friend, especially since Rebecca always told me how happy she was that Olivia had found someone like me. God, I was so stupid. So freaking stupid. But I'm getting ahead of myself here. The point is, I really thought Olivia was it for me. I was planning to propose on our upcoming vacation. Had it all planned out. Nice dinner, sunset walk on the beach. The whole thing. I even talked to her parents about it. They seemed happy about it. I thought I knew her inside and out. We had our little routines, our inside jokes, even a dumb tradition where we'd race to see who could brush their teeth faster. She always won, mostly because I got distracted watching her smile in the mirror. I never doubted for a second that we were on the same page. Sure, she had been a little distant lately, checking her phone more, getting lost in thought. But I chalked it up to stress. Work had been brutal for her, and I figured she just needed space. It was a regular Thursday when everything shifted, though I didn't realize it at the time. Olivia and I had breakfast together like we always did. She made those weird protein pancakes she was obsessed with. Honestly, they tasted like flavored drywall, but I pretended to like them because it made her happy. She was in a surprisingly soft mood that morning. Quieter than usual, but not in a bad way. Just reflective. As I was rinsing my plate, she wrapped her arms around me from behind, resting her head against my back. "I appreciate you, you know that," she said. Voice steady but almost wistful. "I don't say it enough, but I love you for everything." I turned around, smiling. "I know, but you can say it more if you want." I kissed her forehead, brushing it off as just another one of her random sentimental moments. She had a big presentation at work that day, so I figured she was just caught up in her thoughts. She kissed me goodbye like always, grabbed her bag and walked out the door with a quick, "See you tonight." That was the last time I saw her. At first I didn't think much of it. She had that big meeting, and when I texted later about picking up dinner, I figured she was just caught up at work. No response. A little unusual but not alarming. Maybe her phone died, or she was decompressing after a long day. By morning, still nothing. No texts, no calls. My good morning message sat on delivered unread. I called, but it went straight to voicemail. Now that was weird. Olivia always kept her phone on her, especially with work being as demanding as it was. By mid-afternoon, something felt off. I called her office expecting to hear she was swamped with meetings or out on some last-minute assignment. Instead, her assistant, who I'd met several times, who knew exactly who I was, sounded oddly stiff. "Olivia is on indefinite personal leave," she said. I frowned. "What? Since when?" "Starting today." Confused, I asked for more details, but she just kept repeating that's all the information I have. So I drove to her apartment after work, used the key she gave me 6 months ago. Everything looked normal at first. Her clothes were still there. Her favorite coffee mug was in the sink. Her laptop was on the desk. But then I noticed her passport was gone, and her emergency cash box she kept in the closet was empty. That's when I started really freaking out. I called her parents. This is where it gets weird. They seemed completely unbothered. Her mom just said, "Oh, Olivia probably needs some time to think about things. You know how she gets." "No, Linda, I don't know how she gets, because your daughter has never disappeared without a word before." She just gave a vague sigh and mumbled something about Olivia needing space. Space? Space from what? From me, from our life, from the proposal I was planning. My heart was pounding. But her parents acted like this was just a phase, something normal, like I was overreacting for wanting to know where the hell the woman I loved had gone. I tried calling hospitals. None had any record of her. Checked with her gym. Even called our regular takeout places to see if anyone had seen her. Nothing. After 3 days of her disappearing, I filed a police report. But they were useless. Said since she left voluntarily and there were no signs of foul play, there wasn't much they could do. Rebecca, her supposed best friend, was acting strange too. When I called her, she picked up with an annoyed sigh, like she'd been expecting my call and was already over it. "What do you want?" she snapped. No fake concern, no small talk, just irritation. "Have you heard from Olivia?" "No," she said flatly. "I haven't." But something in her tone felt off. She wasn't confused or worried. She sounded bitter. "She didn't say anything to you?" Rebecca let out a sharp laugh. "I'm sure she's fine. Maybe she just needed space." That word again. Space. The same thing her mom had said. Space from what? She scoffed. "Oh, I don't know. Maybe from all of this." Before I could respond, she cut in. Voice ice cold. "Maybe take the hint and move on." Then she hung up. I stared at my phone, uneasy. Rebecca definitely knew something. And whatever it was, she despised Olivia for it. But I brushed it off, figuring it was just some drama between them. One of those things I'd never understand. I started having trouble sleeping. I kept thinking maybe I missed something. Was she unhappy? Did I do something wrong? I went through our recent texts, our pictures, our conversations. Everything seemed normal. We just booked concert tickets for next month. She'd been planning my birthday party. None of it made sense. Then I remembered our shared account. We'd opened it for travel savings, both putting in money each month for our future trips. When I logged in, my stomach dropped. There were withdrawals, big ones, not from our city, not even from our country. The transactions were from the freaking Maldives. The charges told a story I wasn't ready to read. luxury resort bookings, couple massage appointments, romantic beachfront dinners. While I was losing my mind worrying about her, she was living it up on some tropical island. I spent hours going through those bank statements. Every charge, every withdrawal painted a clearer picture. The timeline started before she disappeared. Small withdrawals at first, then bigger ones. She'd definitely been planning this. I called the resort listed on the charges. Told them I was trying to confirm a reservation for Olivia Williams. The receptionist was super helpful. "Oh yes, Miss Williams and Mr. Baker are enjoying their stay with us. Would you like me to leave them a message?" Mr. Baker? Nate Baker? Her toxic ex? That's when I lost it, sitting there staring at my laptop screen. Everything started making sense in the worst way possible. The late-night work calls, the time she was too busy to hang out, her suddenly wanting to open a joint account for our future. She'd been setting this up for weeks, maybe months. I messaged Rebecca again, this time letting her know I'd found out about the Maldives. Her response, radio silence for an hour, then a bunch of photos in my inbox. Olivia and Nate together, on beaches, at restaurants, looking happy as could be. I stared at the screen, my mind unraveling. Was any of it real? The quiet mornings, the late-night talks, the plans for our future. Had she already checked out while I was still holding on? How long had this been going on? Had everyone known but me? I thought back to her mom's detached voice, the weird tension in Rebecca's words, the way Olivia had hugged me that last morning, like it was some kind of goodbye. After Rebecca sent those photos, she asked to meet in person. We met at this little coffee shop downtown. Neutral territory, I guess. She looked terrible, like she hadn't slept in days. Turns out she had her own mess of a story to tell. Remember how Olivia always talked about Nate being this toxic ex who treated her badly? Well, according to Rebecca, that wasn't exactly true. Yeah, they had their problems, but Olivia was just as responsible for their breakup as he was. She'd always wanted him to be something he wasn't. Wanted him to get a real job instead of being a tattoo artist. Wanted him to dress differently. Basically wanted to change everything about him. Here's the really messed up part. When Nate and Olivia broke up 2 years ago, it wasn't just because of their problems. Olivia had been pushing him away on purpose, trying to make him feel bad about himself. She wanted him to regret losing her. That's where I came in. Rebecca told me Olivia had spotted me at a few local shows before Trevor's party. Turns out that drink spill wasn't so accidental. She'd picked me out specifically because I was different from Nate in every way. Stable job, clean-cut look. The type of guy her parents would love. The complete opposite of her bad boy ex. But here's where it gets even worse. About 6 months into our relationship, Olivia sent Rebecca to date Nate. She played it off like a casual suggestion. You guys would look cute together. Olivia wanted control. She wanted someone inside Nate's life, feeding her details, making sure he wasn't moving on. And Rebecca, loyal to a fault, went along with it. And once Rebecca and Nate actually started dating, Olivia lost it. Suddenly she needed updates, constant ones. Where did you go? What did he say? Did he look happy? It wasn't curiosity. It was obsession. She even made Rebecca take pictures whenever she was out with Nate, analyzing every shot like she was gathering evidence. Rebecca admitted she felt terrible about it. But Olivia was her best friend since 9th grade. She'd always put Olivia first. So when Olivia asked her to date Nate to keep an eye on him, Rebecca agreed. The whole time Rebecca was dating Nate, she was feeding information back to Olivia. 3 months ago, Nate broke up with Rebecca. Told her straight up that he'd only dated her to make Olivia jealous. That he'd never stopped loving Olivia. Rebecca was devastated, but Olivia was thrilled. That's when they started planning their great escape to the Maldives. Rebecca showed me their text conversations. Olivia had been planning this for weeks. She'd picked that specific Thursday to leave because she knew I had a big project at work and wouldn't notice her being gone right away. This wasn't impulsive. It wasn't some moment of weakness. The joint account? That was Nate's idea. He told her to get me to put in as much money as possible before they left. They'd use it to fund their new life together. Olivia had even laughed about it in their texts, saying how funny it was that I was basically paying for her romantic getaway with another guy. I asked Rebecca why she was telling me all this now. Lucas, Olivia had promised to stay in touch to include me in their new life. Instead, they blocked her on everything the day they left. She'd been nothing but a pawn in their game, just like me. The whole time Rebecca was talking, I kept thinking about all the moments I thought were real. Olivia crying about how badly Nate had treated her. All those times she said she was so happy to have found someone who really cared about her. Every single "I love you." All lies. Rebecca tried apologizing, saying she should have told me sooner. Said she didn't realize how far Olivia would take things. I just got up and left. What was there to say? She'd helped her best friend scam me emotionally and financially for 2 years. That night I made some decisions about what to do next. I had access to all our shared accounts, and Olivia had no idea I knew what she'd done. I wasn't about to let them enjoy my money while laughing about how stupid I was. I sat down with my laptop and made a list of every account Olivia and I shared. The travel savings account was the biggest one, but there were others. Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, our phone plan, even this monthly food subscription box she loved. First thing I did was download all the bank statements and transfer them to my lawyer. Yes, I got a lawyer. My cousin works at a law firm and helped me out. The statements showed Olivia had withdrawn almost $118,000 from our joint account. Here's the thing, though. I'd put in about $25,000 total. She'd been living off my contributions while barely touching her own. My cousin helped me document everything. We tracked every withdrawal, every charge. The resort bookings alone were over $9,000. Then there were the spa treatments, fancy restaurants, even some jewelry store charges. They were living like royalty with my money. The next morning I went to the bank as soon as it opened. Turned out Olivia had tried to set up automatic transfers from our joint account to a new account in her name. She'd scheduled them to start the day after she left. The manager helped me stop those transfers and remove my name from the account. But I didn't just remove my name. I also withdrew every cent I'd contributed first. Legally, I was entitled to it, since I could prove how much each of us had put in. Left her with only her own contributions. About $3,000. Not quite enough for the luxury vacation she'd planned. The phone plan was next. I called the carrier and separated our lines. She'd added all these international features for her trip without telling me. Well, surprise! Those features stopped working mid-vacation. Hope those Instagram stories were worth the roaming charges, Olivia. I also logged into our shared cloud storage. Olivia had this habit of never backing up her photos anywhere else. Found hundreds of pictures of her with Nate going back months. Downloaded everything as evidence, then logged her out. Hope she wasn't planning to keep those vacation memories. The gym membership she'd been using under my corporate discount? Canceled. The automated toll tag for her car? Deactivated. The premium Spotify account she used through my family plan? Gone. I systematically removed her from every aspect of my life she'd been mooching off of. But the biggest move? I documented every lie, every secret meeting, every planned deception. Put together a timeline showing how she'd manipulated everything. Saved screenshots of Rebecca's messages, the bank records, everything. Because I knew Olivia, she'd try to spin this somehow when she got back. Some of you might think this was too much, but here's the thing. This wasn't just about the money. Olivia hadn't just cheated on me. She'd spent 2 years deliberately lying, manipulating, and using me. As part of some twisted plan to get back with Nate, she'd watched me fall in love with her, plan a future with her, all while knowing it was fake. The whole time I was doing this, Olivia was posting these romantic beach photos with Nate, living my best life. Finally with my soulmate. Each post made me more certain I was doing the right thing. She thought she had everything figured out. Her perfect escape funded by her naive ex-boyfriend. About a week after I did all this, I got a text from an international number. Olivia had finally realized her credit cards were getting declined. That's when she remembered texting me. Her message was pretty much what I expected. What's going on? Why can't I access any of our accounts? I didn't respond, of course. Let her figure it out herself. A few days later, Rebecca told me Olivia had called her freaking out because they couldn't pay their hotel bill. Apparently, the resort was holding their passports until they settled their balance. Guess that romantic getaway wasn't so romantic anymore. Olivia came back exactly 67 days after she disappeared. I know the exact number because I'd been counting. It was a Saturday morning, and I was actually at my place playing video games when my doorbell rang. Wasn't expecting anyone, so I checked my doorbell camera through my phone. There she was, standing at my door in this expensive-looking sundress, holding her designer suitcase, like she'd just gotten back from a normal vacation. My heart started racing, but not because I still had feelings for her. I was just mad, like physically shaking mad. I almost didn't open the door, but then I remembered all the evidence I had collected, all the screenshots saved on my laptop, and thought, yeah, let's do this. When I opened the door, Olivia started crying immediately. Not like subtle tears, full-on dramatic sobbing. "I made a terrible mistake," she said, trying to step inside. I blocked the doorway. She looked surprised. I'd never done anything like that before. I used to always let her walk all over me. Not this time. She launched into this whole speech about how Nate hadn't changed, how he was still the same selfish person he'd always been. Said he'd spent all their money on partying with his friends, instead of the romantic activities they'd planned. Complained that he'd invited random people to their hotel room, and embarrassed her in front of other guests. The whole time she's talking, she kept trying to make eye contact, probably trying to see if her crying was working on me like it used to. But I just stood there, arms crossed, waiting for her to finish her performance, because that's what it was, another performance. "I know I disappeared, but I realized you're the one I want to be with," she said, reaching for my hand. "You're stable, reliable, mature. Nate is just a boy who never grew up. I want a real future, and that's with you." That's when I started laughing. Couldn't help it. She looked so confused. Olivia wasn't used to me laughing at her tears. I used to fall all over myself trying to comfort her whenever she cried. "Stable, reliable," I said. "You mean easy to manipulate, easy to steal from?" Her face changed instantly. The tears stopped. It was like watching someone take off a mask. "What are you talking about?" she asked. But her voice was different now, harder. I pulled out my phone and opened the folder where I'd saved everything. "Should we talk about the money you stole from our joint account? Or maybe how you used Rebecca to spy on your ex while pretending to be in love with me?" Olivia's mouth opened and closed a few times, like she was trying to find the right lie. Then she switched tactics. "Rebecca told you that? That lying snake. She's just jealous because Nate never really loved her. You can't believe anything she says." "Actually," I said, "I don't need to believe Rebecca. The bank statements, hotel receipts, and your own messages are pretty clear. By the way, how was the couple's massage at the resort? The one you paid for with my money?" She started stammering about how she could explain everything, how it wasn't what it looked like. Then she tried a different approach, telling me she'd pay me back every cent, that we could work through this, that she'd go to therapy. "I'll do anything," she said. "Just give me another chance. We can start fresh." "Like how you gave Nate another chance using my money?" I asked. "Speaking of money, how'd the rest of your vacation go after I took back my contributions from our joint account?" Her face went pale. Finally, she understood that I knew everything. No more manipulation. No more lies. No more playing the victim. She'd been caught and she knew it. "You had no right," she started yelling. "That was our money. You ruined everything. Do you know how embarrassing it was when our cards got declined at the resort? They kept our passports until Nate's friend wired us money." I just smiled. "Actually, I had every right. I have proof of exactly how much money was mine. You're lucky I didn't report you for fraud." That's when she completely lost it. Started screaming about how I'd never find anyone like her, how I'd regret this, how she'd tell everyone I was abusive and controlling. Real classy stuff. I didn't say anything. Just pulled out my phone again and pressed record. Let her keep screaming. More evidence from my lawyer just in case. Finally, she ran out of steam, stood there on my porch, mascara running down her face, looking nothing like the confident person who'd shown up at my door. "I loved you," she said quietly, trying one last time. "No," I replied. "You loved what you could get from me. There's a difference." Then I closed the door, listened to her yell for a few more minutes before she finally left. Watched on my doorbell camera as she rolled her suitcase to her Uber, probably heading to her parents' house, since she didn't have her own place anymore. About 3 days after she showed up at my door, I started getting weird messages from friends asking if I was okay. Didn't think much of it at first, until my sister called me sounding really worried. "Have you seen what Olivia posted about you?" she asked. I hadn't. I'd blocked Olivia on everything after she left that day, but my sister sent me screenshots. And man, Olivia had gone full psycho with her revenge plan. She'd written this long post on Facebook. Yeah, people still use it. About how I'd been financially and emotionally abusive throughout our relationship. Said I'd isolated her from friends, controlled all her money, and monitored her social media. According to her post, she'd escaped to the Maldives to get away from my abuse, and was only now strong enough to speak her truth. The post was filled with carefully selected screenshots of our text conversations, all taken completely out of context. Like when I asked her where she was going one night because we had dinner plans, she twisted it to make it seem like I was controlling. Or when I questioned a weird bank charge, which turned out to be from her secret date with Nate, she made it look like I was financially controlling. She even posted photos of herself crying, claiming they were taken during our relationship. I recognized one. It was from when she was fake crying about Nate forgetting her birthday. Now she was using it as evidence of my supposed abuse. The worst part? People were believing her. My phone started blowing up with angry messages. People I hadn't talked to in years were coming out of nowhere to tell me what a terrible person I was. Someone even found my work email and sent the post to my boss, suggesting they should reconsider employing an abuser. I felt like I was going crazy. Olivia had spent 2 years manipulating me, stealing from me, and cheating on me. And now she was somehow making herself the victim. But remember Rebecca? Turns out Rebecca had kept all their messages, every single conversation about their plan to manipulate me, every discussion about using my money, and Rebecca had finally had enough of Olivia's games. I didn't even ask Rebecca to help. She did it on her own. She made her own post, sharing the actual screenshots of their conversations, posted the bank statements showing how Olivia had stolen my money, shared photos of Olivia and Nate together from when we were still dating, with timestamps proving she'd been cheating. Rebecca even shared the messages, where Olivia laughed about using me as her backup plan, and joked about how I was paying for her romantic getaway with Nate. The actual truth made Olivia's abuse claims look exactly like what they were, a desperate attempt to save face. The fallout was intense. People started deleting their supportive comments on Olivia's post. Some even apologized to me publicly. Olivia's own cousin messaged me, apologizing for believing her lies. The post to my work email was retracted. Olivia tried to delete everything, but screenshots last forever. She disabled her Facebook account, but it was too late. The damage to her reputation was done, and this time it was damage caused by the truth, not by lies. Then Nate got involved, but instead of defending Olivia, he posted his own story. Turns out she'd been lying to him too. All those times she told me he was toxic and abusive. She was telling him the same things about me. She'd played us both, using each of us to make the other jealous. The messages started changing, from people calling me an abuser, to people warning each other about Olivia. Several of her ex-friends came forward, with stories about how she'd manipulated them too. It was like watching years of lies unravel in real time. Olivia tried one last desperate move. She made a new post claiming Rebecca and I were working together to ruin her life, claimed all the screenshots were fake, said Nate was lying because she'd rejected him, but nobody was buying it anymore. Last I heard, she lost her job too. Turns out taking 2 months of emergency leave for a beach vacation doesn't go over well with employers. At this point, I'm done with the drama and just focusing on myself. It's been nice not having to deal with Olivia's chaos. And honestly, life's been way more peaceful without her in it. Some of you asked for an update on my situation with Olivia. Well, karma finally caught up with her, and it's been wild. After losing her job and getting exposed on social media, Olivia's life basically fell apart. Her parents finally stopped enabling her and told her she needed to get a job if she wanted to keep living with them. She ended up working at this small advertising agency, way below her previous position. But here's where it gets interesting. Remember Nate? Turns out he wasn't done playing games either. A mutual friend told me he started dating Olivia's younger sister. Yeah, you read that right. The same guy Olivia threw away everything for is now with her sister. According to my friend, Olivia found out when she saw them together at their parents' house. During Sunday dinner, Olivia completely lost it, started throwing things, screaming about how her sister betrayed her. Her parents had to physically remove her from the house. They finally realized how unstable she really was and made therapy a condition for her to ever come back. Last week she showed up at my new apartment. No idea how she got my address. She looked terrible. Nothing like the polished advertising executive she used to be. Said she'd realized how badly she messed up. Claimed losing me was the biggest mistake of her life. When I didn't immediately respond, she started listing all the ways Nate had wronged her. How he'd spent all their money in the Maldives. How he'd embarrassed her in front of other guests. How he never really changed. Then she switched to talking about how perfect we were together. How she'd give anything for another chance. I just let her talk. The whole time she was going on about how much she'd changed. She never once acknowledged how her actions affected me. It was all about her pain, her growth, her suffering. Classic Olivia. Then she dropped the real reason for her visit. She needed money. Apparently she's drowning in credit card debt from the Maldives trip. Nate had convinced her to put everything on her cards. After I froze the joint account, she actually thought I might help her pay it off. I just laughed and shut the door. Through the door, I heard her yell, "I've changed. I'm different now." Yeah, so different that she's still trying to use me for money. The best part? My new girlfriend Lily, who Olivia didn't know about, was inside the whole time trying not to laugh. We just gotten back from dinner when Olivia showed up. Lily's the complete opposite of Olivia. Honest, independent, and actually empathetic. We've been dating for 6 months, and it's honestly shown me what a healthy relationship should be like. Olivia still tries to reach out through fake social media accounts sometimes. She'll send long messages about destiny and soulmates, usually late at night. Each one gets blocked immediately. Lily and I actually turn them into a game. We try to guess how many sentences it'll take before Olivia mentions needing money. Last I heard, Olivia's sister and Nate are actually pretty serious. They're moving in together next month. Olivia had to quit her new job because she couldn't handle seeing their photos on social media. She's living in some small apartment her parents helped pay for, still doing therapy, but mostly just complaining about how unfair her life is. Looking back, I'm actually grateful for everything that happened. If Olivia hadn't shown her true colors, I might have married her and discovered all this years later. Instead, I'm with someone who makes me genuinely happy, and Olivia's left dealing with the consequences of her own actions. Thanks for all the support. To those asking, yes, Lily knows the whole story. We believe in complete honesty. Stop asking for Olivia's sister's social media. Let's not be creepy. For those wondering about Rebecca, we're still in touch. She's actually dating a really nice guy now and seems much happier.